The following is a presentation of Pod Media Works.
Hello, everybody. We're back. We are back. Welcome to this week's episode of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast, where Larry and I take a movie from our childhoods that is either totally rad or epically bad, and we discuss it for your pleasure. Larry, what's been going on? It has been a while.
Hey, everybody. It's been a long while. I looked. The last episode of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast was April, like mid-April. Yeah. So it's been like 3 months, but we're back for Nerds Unite Con. So shout out to the secondary heroes and the secondary raid that's happening right now on Twitch. So shout out to the chat. Real quick, I see Ryan, Asian Tony Stark, Patrick. What's up, Patrick? Corgi, El Machas. Ryan, more Corgi, Bongo Trojan, nice.
That is
Funko 30.
That is a great name.
Yeah, I had to pause and actually read the full name. It's going fast now. Hope, Mountain Bag, Jedi's in there, Jorge's in there, Mocking Lazarus 89. What's up? Thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you to Secondary Heroes who are just wrapping up a super awesome artist alley, I believe. So thank you guys for hanging out. We're talking about the 1987 smash hit, the Garbage Pail Kids.
You can't even say that with a straight face. No. It's the Garbage Pail Kids. So here's the thing: it's like I distinctly remember this movie as being a movie.
Me too.
Rewatching it, I was like, I don't remember any of this shit. Like, no. I don't remember a single thing from it.
Yeah, not at all. I think I told you, I might have told on our last episode of the podcast, like I had a VHS tape that my parents recorded for me that had been taped over since, but it still had the label on there, right? Like it said that they had recorded probably off like a HBO free weekend or something. It was it was Follow That Bird, Empire Strikes Back, and the Garbage Pail Kids movie. So I know I've seen it before. At least I'm pretty sure because my parents recorded it for me. But my God, yeah, I didn't remember any part of this movie except for the scary, the creepy like animatronic head costume things.
Oh yeah, that was like those you always remember.
Yeah, I heard those haunt me in my nightmares.
But, yeah, those things again. They will haunt me from now on. Like I said, I remember like being like middle school. Being over at a friend's house where they used to do the big sleepovers where you had like 80 of your friends over.
Yeah.
And like you do like, we'd watch like scary movies, but we'd find like the crappiest scary movies we could find. And this I know was one of the crappy movies we found, thinking it was going to be scary because the logo looks scary. It's the kid, he's like, and then there's these things in the Garbage Pail Kids are like coming out of the garbage. It looks terrifying if you base it off just the cover.
I completely agree. But it's not. It's just bad. Did you have Garbage Pail Kids cards as a kid? Were you around for that craze?
So I was pretty young for that phase, but
I was too. And you're younger than me, so
yeah. So like, because I think they ended in like around 1990, right? Like I think that's about when they stopped making them.
Yeah, that bubble would have popped by then.
Yeah, sure. By that time. So by the time I got into cards and stuff, I was much older to be able to find them. But they were still around. Like you could still find them fairly easily. Like everyone had a couple of Garbage Pail Kids cards in their baseball card collection. Like it just you had them. So I distinctly remember quite a few of the cards.
Yeah, me too. Like I remember I didn't have many, but like friends did, right? I remember people like slapping them on their skateboards and on their lunch boxes and that kind of stuff because they were cards, but they were also stickers.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
87, right? You were super young in 87. So yeah, by 1990-ish, they were dead. So this movie came out.
I was what, 4 when this movie came out. So
Yeah, I would have been 6. So we were babies. But I remember it. But right, this movie was like, hey, these Garbage Pail Kids are this underground like phenomenon that kids just like caught wind of on the playground and totally blew up. And somebody was like, hey, let's make a movie about this and take advantage. Great idea on paper.
On paper. So can I tell you that there's the original draft of this movie start off as a horror movie?
No,
which is why it's kind of reworked, and they're still got some like weird
things
weird, to it. Is this one started off as like where they were supposed to like, kind of same premise. They like, just show up and get freed, but they would like be murderous apparently, and like they were like evil. And then somebody was like, nah, we got to do this weird kid-friendly one, and the new director came on and got it.
I mean, I kind of get it. Garbage Pail Kids, just in general, could make for a pretty good horror movie, kind of like like Banana Split style horror movie.
Right.
Same idea.
I think the guy who did some of the animatronics or cinematography was the same guy who did the Ghoulies with the little tiny monster thing. So you see a couple of them in that dude's shop. So like it was ramped up, and like everyone was hired for it to truly be like horror scary film, and then it turned into what we got.
Yeah, but these were cards, like, right? This was like a toy kind of that was marketed towards kids. It was kids that were collecting these. You had to make a kids movie,
right? Another thing I was reading actually is that the guy who directed it, which is I can't remember his first name, something Amatow, is the guy who did it, was like put this on the same level of like, oh, like this will be like the Disney movies, like all the Snow Whites and stuff. Like kids will keep coming back to this movie in the future. Yeah.
Okay. You know what we didn't do? We didn't do the summary of what the Garbage Pail Kids movie is.
So
yet.
I know we've been talking about it here. So Larry, you brought it up, and I was going to make you do it anyway.
I know.
What is the story of Garbage Pail Kids? Because to be fair, I texted you earlier and said, "Is there a plot to this movie?" So Larry, explain what this plot is.
So I prepped this in my head a little bit, but oh my god, I have no idea. So here's the loose premise of the Garbage Pail Kids movie, right? There is this garbage pail it's trash can at this antique shop with this creepy old dude and this kid who works
every
there.
Other show would be the devil. Like that's the setup for like he's the shopkeeper who's the devil that like makes weird deals with people.
Yeah. So right, that guy's got this weird antique store. And he's got this garbage pail that he doesn't want the kid who hangs out there to open because it would be like unleashing Pandora's box, right? That was his analogy. He's like, don't open this. Like some things aren't meant to be out in the world. Like, okay. Takes 16 minutes for the Garbage Pail Kids to actually make an appearance in this movie. That is a problem as well. But finally, by accident, they get released. And then they kind of cause terror throughout the town. But they make friends with the kid. They get their boogers and all over the place. They fart all over the place.
They're good at sewing.
Yeah, they help. Really, really, like that's the main plot point, right? Is they help the bully's girlfriend make clothes for a fashion show, because that's a thing that Garbage Pail Kids should do.
Because their friend likes the bully's girlfriend. Yeah. That's as complicated as this movie gets.
That's kind of it, man. And then it gets a little crazy from there, and that's the plot point. Like the old man wants them to get back into the garbage can for some reason that's not really explained. Because I mean, what did you think about all that? Because they're kind of gross and disgusting and ugly, but why were they locked in the garbage can in the first place? Yeah,
nothing they did really presented themselves that bad. They were the same as what I would estimate like rednecks in the South to be, right? Like they go to the movies and they make a ruckus and steal some other people's popcorn. Like, oh no! Like,
yeah, right.
Okay, the one alligator does eat a guy's toes in a bar.
Okay, besides alligator, who clearly has more problems than just being a garbage pail kid.
Yeah, he's an
because he looks like an alligator.
Yeah. Yes. With a foot fetish.
That scene was awesome.
So, I'm going to tell you this. Let's just go this way. I looked this up because I just needed to see what it was at. Now,
Yeah.
we looked at Theodore Rex, right, as one of our first
Yes,
movies.
that was the second movie. That was the second movie we watched for the Totally Rad Movie Podcast.
So Theodore Rex, I'm just going to tell you, has almost the same scores on Rotten Tomatoes as the Garbage Pail Kids movie. A 0% on Tomato Meter, but it's been reviewed many more times. Like low 20s user score. Like it is, or like audience score, right? Like it is. I cannot remember the last time I saw a movie at 0, and we've picked 2 of them for the show.
Yeah. So if anyone listening isn't familiar with Theodore Rex, it is a horrible movie about a dinosaur cop and Whoopi Goldberg. It was trash.
I do. So here's the thing: is I would actually suggest people go watch Theodore Rex because it's bad and ridiculous.
It's one of those so bad. But I want to ask you, what did you like more, Theodore Rex or Garbage Pail Kids?
Theodore Rex. It at least had a plot could follow.
You know what this reminded me of? Garbage Pail Kids, the movie, reminded me of of another movie we watched too, Masters of the Universe. Right, to me, it's kind of like the Masters of the Universe movie mushed together with Theodore Rex. Right, it's this known property that people who weren't familiar with the Garbage Pail Kids went ahead and made a movie about it, just like people who knew nothing about He-Man made this awful Masters of the Universe movie. And then it's got the bad animatronics and scary costumes like Theodore Rex did. Because those costumes were awful.
Yeah, can we talk about the animatronics? Because
yes, please.
Outside of the horrible acting and the no plot and a guy the bully that continually calls the main character creep, like not once, not twice. I counted at least 4 times throughout the movie where the bad guy, whose name is Juice, calls Dodger, the main character, creep.
Do you think
for
that was
whatever reason?
Was that like O.J. Simpson foreshadowing? Right, because he was the Juice.
Yeah, right. He's the Juice.
Anyway,
and his girlfriend Tangerine. Tangerine. I feel like somebody just was like, these names sound fine, and
they were eating breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we need some character names, and the one guy's like, I got some juice, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what's something that goes with juice, like orange or no, that's too obvious. How about tangerine?
Tangerine juice.
You know, all the best names and movie ideas come from the breakfast table. Just saying.
That's true. But yeah, we need to talk about these animatronics because I don't want to say they are the worst. But they are pretty damn close to the worst. Like
they're it's kind of like Theodore Rex. They're barely animatronic.
Yeah. It's you can tell that it was literally a puppet that the mouth is just like and it's like a paper mache head on top of a little person that they stuffed in this like contraption.
Those poor little people.
Which I have to say, like, they did give some mobility to it, though, because you do see them running around a little bit more than you did, like, Theodore.
So I think just the heads were, right? The heads were animatronic, and the bodies were their bodies. So they were wearing this weird, creepy, heavy, probably sweaty mask and trying to run around and sort of act.
Yeah. So I could tell you, the only one that did make me laugh out loud a couple of times is Alligator, the one that's like a human, half man, half alligator.
He was my favorite.
So he would point sometimes, though, and like he'd put his hands up, and you could tell that they just had him wear like a green glove that was under the shirt. Like, so they made like a tail and like the alligator head, but they're like, we can't bother to make alligator hands for the actor. Just put these green gloves on him and call it like dishwashing gloves and call it a day. So a couple of times you saw it, you're like, can I also mention the pipes in the sewer? Which I don't know if you got a chance to go through and see this.
I remember them. It's like the sewer that's under the antique shop that they somehow find themselves in a couple times.
Pipes to the one of the pipes says to the CIA.
Yeah. Yes.
There's one that goes directly to a hot tub. Like that's just the city's pipe to a hot tub, and apparently you can just pump sewage back into that.
Yep. That was a good scene.
Like there's some ridiculous stuff in the background that has to be called out. Like,
well, that ended like they show it.
Gandhi in the cage being too bald and Santa Claus being too fat.
We'll get
in
to
the
that.
Center for the Ugly.
Yeah, well, we'll go there, but yeah, you're referring to the center for the ugly, where apparently ugly people get sent. So that's part of the plot
and
point
killed.
too.
And killed.
Yeah.
Like the sad thing is, he's like they put him in a garbage truck and crunched them.
Yeah. So right, one of the plot points of this is the Garbage Pail Kids. They think they're friends, which never gets addressed. Are locked up in this center for the ugly. So the kid and the old man go find this place, and it's real. And there's like dog keeper guys who run around and capture ugly people with the net, and lock them up in this center for the ugly. But anyhow, the bad guy, right, Juice. Juice for some reason.
The fact that you just said that sentence.
Yeah, he decides to go to the antique store and capture the Garbage Pail Kids because they were messing with him. So he gets them locked up in the center for the ugly. And once we're there, we see such things like you said, like the fat Santa, who apparently is too fat. He has to be locked up. The skinny Abraham Lincoln.
This is back in the 80s. That's a normal size Santa now. That is not a too fat Santa.
Yeah. The clown that was too funny.
Yeah, too silly.
Too silly. Yeah,
he had big hands.
It was the man. There was like a too hairy man in there too. It's just the most ridiculous thing. But I didn't really catch it till the end. But I think the main theme of this movie was like the be yourself. It's what's inside that counts. But man, did they do a horrible job of putting that together.
Well, because there was no actual plot to this movie. It was a bunch of random ideas that they threw together.
Kind of flowed.
All it was a bunch of C plots for a movie that they just kind of meshed together to be like, all right, that makes a complete movie. That's there was no actual like main plot other than 14-year-old kid tries to hook up with a girl who looks like she's 18, and he gets these weird creatures from a garbage can in the antique store to help him do so by sewing. That's a
pretty good summary right there.
Right? Like it is awful. The acting is horrible. By the way, that girl and Mackenzie Astin, who is Rudy's half brother,
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin, Rudy.
And did you know that they are the sons of Gomez Addams from the Addams family? Because I didn't know that either.
John Astin. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. So I knew about Sean Astin being his kid because
I didn't know that.
That's a pretty popular.
Yeah,
I didn't know this guy existed as his half brother.
Yeah, his half brother, and his mom is Patty Duke from like the Patty Duke show and whatever else Patty Duke was. Parent Trap. Was Patty Duke in Parent Trap? No, that was Haley Mills. Patty Duke was in stuff like in the 50s. But like
back in the day,
The kid from the Garbage Pail Kids movie, his parents were Hollywood royalty. So I mean, clearly that's how he got the part. He's still in stuff too. Did you see that? He's still active. And some other stuff. He was in Homeland for a little bit. He's in some big stuff.
So there's the other little random trivia that I found that when John Astin, Gomez Addams, read the script for the Garbage Pail Kids, they tried their damnedest to get him out of that movie. But my point is, between him and the girl who plays Tangerine, you think there's like a 4-year difference between the two? They're actually only like less than a year difference in age. Between the two actors. It is a stark. There's a stark level of development between the two of them that are different.
That is surprising.
But I try to redeem this movie and be like, oh, I was entertained or anything, but like it was a drudge to get through. It was not good.
It held my attention because it was so bad, and I was trying to figure out what was happening.
Because the lack of a plot actually made me be like, maybe a plot's going to be introduced. Oh, it's an hour and 10 minutes into the hour and 40-minute movie. Maybe a plot's going to get introduced, and it wasn't. It never did.
To be fair, like I stopped and started Theodore Rex a bunch of times. There's been some other movies that I kind of struggled to get through that we've watched for this podcast. This one I only stopped one time, and that was like it was like a forced break to go eat some dinner or something. It was bad in the sense that it had no plot, but I was kind of hooked. Like I wanted to know what was going to happen next because I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, no,
that's a horrible way to draw people in, man.
Yeah, no, it deserves all the bad reviews it got, but it wasn't a complete bomb. Like I was looking into it. Apparently, it was made with $1 million and made back $1.5 million, like 1.5 million.
Hey,
so like it made some money. I don't know how well this was like marketed, so maybe they lost some money on it, but it ended up not being a complete waste. But it was cinematically, it was utter garbage.
It's pretty bad.
All right. So speaking of utter garbage, Larry, there's a point in the show that we talk about the parts that we really, really enjoy and the parts that we don't enjoy of the movies. We call these the totally rad and totally bogus moment. We're going to start with the totally rad moment of the movie.
Like totally rad.
Can I go first?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So the part that I thought was totally rad is this movie. I implicitly did not talk about this coming up to this point because I need to. Has a musical number about halfway through.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
It's got a musical number
with the Garbage Pail Kids singing while they're working.
With the Garbage Pail Kids singing while they're stealing stuff.
Oh, is that what it was?
They go to a sweatshop and steal a sewing machine and everything from a sweatshop while singing a song about why they shouldn't help the kid, but if they all work together, they can do whatever. Like the message of the song is great, right? It's like, oh, like if we work together, we can do anything. But the other lyrics are like, we should just let that kid rot or whatever. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
it's weird. But yeah, they sing this song about being together and doing everything.
I believe
while stealing stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And then making clothes.
I believe the chorus was something along the lines of, "We can do anything by working with each other."
Yep. Exactly.
Sung by the Garbage Pail Kids.
Sung by the Garbage Pail Kids.
That was that was on my list of possible totally rad moments. And yes, I made a list because there were so many to choose from.
You had more than one.
I didn't want to forget. I got
pipe. That and the random pipes in the sewer the one that went to the CIA were the only ones I got.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I've got a couple. You mentioned one. I don't know if I'm going to use that one though. No. My totally rad moment from the Garbage Pail Kids movie is when they are at the toughest bar in the world. Right, the Garbage Pail Kids go on a road trip, and Windy is in there, and he farts so hard that it blows somebody's hat and mustache off.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for a good fart joke.
Which in turn makes all the bikers and the tough guys like them to where they help them later in the movie.
Yep.
Like I've never in a movie has a fart unified so many people as in the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
It's a good point, man. There's multiple Windy fart jokes because the character's name's Windy. And he's like at the end when the talent show goes to hell, he's farting on people. It's like that. I laughed a couple times. Like I guess I'm just a sucker for a good fart joke.
Yeah, a good fart joke does go away. I do enjoy when he first meets him and he turns around and the kid's like, yeah, and he's like, I'm just joking. But then they do that same joke again with the puke girl, and she's like, ugh, and he's like, and I'm like, dude, you just used that joke. You can't do it again.
Poor writing. You mentioned another one that I had on my list. When Alligator is at that same bar, he walks in and he's looking at everybody's feet, and he sees the one biker tough guy who's wearing sandals, because that's a thing. Right? He finds the guy who's wearing sandals, and he bites his toe, and that's how the whole fight starts. That Windy by farting kind of saves the day. Like that whole scene was just pure gold, man.
And I love how he saunters into that bar. Like he's like, I'm gonna go bite some toes.
And earlier on, he's got a lunchbox. He's actually showed a couple times. He has a lunchbox filled with body parts, like eyeballs and fingers. That's what he snacks on.
Yeah, he snacks on people's parts.
Yeah, where the hell did he get the parts from?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you wonder who supplied him with this lunchbox. Like, was it the old man at the antique store? Is he actually evil? I say yes. He gave him a thing. Too. Yeah. So those. Okay, I have to say, I thought the toughest bar was going to be yours,
I thought the toughest part. I thought the fart joke was going to be your totally rad.
Yeah, see,
I'm shocked.
I went above it. I went above it and went with the song because I'm a sucker for a musical number in a movie that has no bikers love Birkenstocks apparently.
Yeah,
but right. Yeah, you gotta love a movie that interjects a unneeded musical number when there's no other musical numbers. Like at no other point is there songs sung by these things. No. It's just like, you know what this part needs when they're committing grand larceny? A musical number. So
these creepy animatronic head guys singing. All right.
Yeah, creepy babies. But
those are some good moments, dude.
Those are the good moments. There's a lot more of the bad moments that we have, and we call these bad moments the totally bogus moment.
Ugh, totally bogus.
So Larry, I went first the last one. You go first on this one. What is your totally bogus moment?
Well, mine kind of flows with what we were just talking about, so that totally works. The creepy antique guy. Do you remember the scene where the kid, I forget what, he gets all dirty because he's playing with the Garbage Pail Kids, and he has to take a bath at the antique store.
Yep.
Why
in the big bathtub?
In the big like I don't know, like old timey bathtub, right? Copper
Victorian.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, like right, the old kind of Victorian style bathtub in the middle of the store. Like that was kind of creepy. Like before that, I was getting some creeper vibes from the shopkeeper guy too. And then all of a sudden, the kid's taking a bath in the middle of the store. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, man. So bogus to that dude.
Bogus to that guy. And I agree, because at first I thought like, oh, it's going to turn out to be like his grandpa.
Yeah, I thought uncle, I thought maybe he lived there or something, but no, he's just the creepy friend.
He's the guy. He employs a 14-year-old
in
his antique shop and lets him take baths in the middle of the store. That guy's a creeper.
No,
there's a reason why he has to hide out in his little antique store. I thought, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Faustian thing where he's like the devil and he has like the Garbage Pail Kids or whatever.
That makes too much sense, but
because it makes more sense like that way. But yeah, he just turned out to be just this weird old guy who randomly thinks that locking up these children is the best course of action, even though they're okay. So let me go into my totally bogus moment. There's quite a few. I would say the entire movie, if I could.
I mean, that's a given. I think that's a given with all the movies we watch for the most part, right? So you got to pick one, dude.
I will say this. It's the whole idea of the plot point of the girl Tangerine. Like, she like clearly like this kid is in love with this girl who wants to do fashion and goes to like the club and sells clothes off the hood of her car to people who already going into a club. Like, why are you buying clothes going into the nightclub? Like, this the whole idea of that whole thing, right? It's weird. Like, who's buying the clothes before they go in clubbing, carrying around an extra shirt now? And then like, again,
it was like it was somebody who doesn't understand
the fashion
shows and how to sell clothes that wrote this part of the plot about the fashion industry. It's like me trying to write something about the fashion industry, and then it just is clunky and doesn't make sense. We touched on it, but she gets a full-on fashion show at the department store too, with the clothes that the Garbage Pail Kids made for her, like that. Like they just like, here, strange girl,
after selling clothes out of her car to club goers, they're like, that's 100% like.
Yeah,
they're good. It was the 80s. Everyone was on cocaine. That is true.
So much cocaine, Ed. So that's
I
a good
just
one.
Recently watched a video of 80s club goers, and there was so much cocaine.
It looked like it was snowing.
Corgi said wasn't implied they were aliens at the beginning. You see the garbage can in space, so there's a potential that they are aliens, but that's never addressed again.
No,
at no point. It's also implied that they're potentially magic because the old man is trying to use magic to put them back in the garbage can. So they just were like, let's cover all of our bases. They're magical aliens. But yeah, so to go back to the whole tangerine thing, like, she like, I don't know if she likes this kid. She's going out with this guy Juice. She's like double dipping for a while.
I think she likes the attention. It's one of those
she likes
things,
the
right?
attention, right?
Slightly older girl, young kid. She just likes the attention. She knows she's crushed. She knows that he is crushing on Tangerine.
And he keeps getting his ass kicked and comes back. So, but like at the very end, like obviously she's like, "Hey, let's still be friends" or whatever. And the little kid's like, "Nah," like that got me. But I was like, the whole movie is for nothing. Like,
it's true. It was dumb.
At the end, the Garbage Pail Kids ride off on the end. They don't get recaptured.
Well,
they're not. They don't stay friends. They roll off.
The old man throughout the whole movie, he's trying to figure out how to get them back in the garbage can. Again, not really explained why, because they don't seem that bad, other than they're a little bit ugly and gross. Yeah. But yeah, like at the end, he closes his eyes, plays the song backwards, thinking that that'll return them into their garbage pail. It doesn't. So his eyes, oh God, yes, he's been in tighter spaces than that before. Believe me. So while his eyes are closed and he's playing the song, the Garbage Pail Kids escape out the front door. Kind of
on their custom built ATVs. Where did they get the ATVs?
Yeah. And basically, like Jeremy says in the chat, kind of foreshadowing a sequel. But clearly it made no money and there will be no sequel.
And they made the hint that like they're looking for their friends, so they said there's more of them. They never found their friends, and the old guy just assumes that the people at the place killed them, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just like, oh, we were too late. Yeah. I guess they killed them. And then like and everyone's fine with that answer, by the way. That was completely fine. A reasonable, answer for the other Garbage Pail Kids, not to be like, oh, we should continue to look through here. They're like, nope, we're good. But yeah, just the whole storyline with Tangerine, the ridiculousness of it, that is my totally bogus moment. It is so bad. I don't want it. To Jeremy and Ed's point, I'm going to tell you this one here. There was a planned sequel, but this did so bad and was so critically bombed that they dropped all like chance or even the idea of doing a sequel and will never touch it again. This movie did so bad they will never go back to it.
I think they will. I think they should. I'm going to go one step further. I think they should. Like Corgi throws out an idea, right? It could be the Critters versus Garbage Pail Kids. I'd watch that.
You had my attention, and
I think it's only a matter of time before somebody sees that Banana Splits movie, because that was, I think it was fairly popular, right? It came out, it debuted at San Diego Comic-Con last year, so right, it debuted a year ago. It's available now on home video. So
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? I think you could do a similar style horror movie with the Garbage Pail Kids. That makes a whole lot more sense, right? They're kind of violent, they're kind of gross. You can have them be a team and go against somebody.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like 100%. Like if you're gonna do this as a sequel or a remake, you do it as like the horror. You go back to what they originally wanted for this and do like a horror movie. Like that's the only way.
That is fine. Or like some type of like Roger Rabbit style cartoon / live action. Like you could make that work too. But yeah, even a horror movie that's set up like Roger Rabbit, I would totally watch that.
Yeah. I would watch that. So let's go into it later, because we've discussed this movie to death. It is utterly horrible. We all know that. We knew that going into this movie, but we always have to give a rating. And I've said this in every podcast. I'm going to say it again. We don't rate this based on current quality of that movie. We base this on how well did it hold up today and how well did it entertain us 20 plus years after it released. Larry, what is your rating for Garbage Pail Kids?
Oh, God. I mean, just the fact that it has no plot, right? Like, it's got to be a 1, man. Sorry, Garbage Pail Kids. You get the big, fat, single-digit 1.
Yeah. Boo.
How about you, man?
Can I give it a 0? I think we've had this discussion. I don't believe I can.
I think we said no zeros, right?
We said no zeros, so then I'm going to have to go as well with a 1. Like, it again, there's no no discernible actual plot. It's just a bunch of like random events strung together to make a movie. The acting is probably the worst I've seen in movies.
I mean, us in the chat here for Nerds Unite Con just pitched a better Garbage Pail Kids movie than they could come up with in 1987. So yeah, it's bad. It's the worst of the worst. It
is like, I will say, like, I thought Theodore Rex was the worst movie we've watched.
God.
I now place this one. This one as the worst of the worst. Corgi Commander asked if we've done Mac and Me. That is on our list.
I don't think I've
Mac
seen
and Me
that.
is on our list, but we need to.
Yeah. So
we need to prepare for that one, because that's going to be a long discussion about Mac and Me, and it will probably become the worst one we've watched.
Is that the one with like the ET looking kind of alien?
It's the ET knockoff. That's one giant McDonald's commercial disguised as a movie.
So if this is the first episode of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast you're listening to, which it's entirely possible it is, because we took a really long hiatus, but the idea was born because I haven't seen a lot of 80s movies. And I haven't seen
like no 80s movies.
I saw Back to the Future.
Yeah. So Jeremy does say we will have to bring up the murder plot for the Mac and Me, because there is an alternate ending to the movie with some Mac and Me murder.
Hold on. Ed just dropped some knowledge. Is Paul Rudd in Mac and Me?
No, so every time Paul Rudd goes on Conan O'Brien to plug a movie, he plays a scene from the same scene from Mac and Me. So yeah, we're gonna take that clip. When we do Mac and Me, we'll all get Larry to see what we're talking about, and we'll pull that clip and we'll put it up so that we can also play a clip from Mac and Me.
I like it. I mean, I'm intrigued at least, right?
Yes. So we'll do that. So, all right. So we got two big fat ones for this movie, established as the worst movie we've watched on the thing. Stephanie said, "Am I being held captive? If you need help, blink twice." No, I'm okay. I moved and I can't find any of my picture hangers, so all my pictures are not up on the wall yet. I'm still looking through boxes.
She moved around the same time you did, maybe like a week or two before. But she's supposed to put pictures on her Instagram. Her house is like already set up. She's got her desk up. Like they've got some decorations. Yeah. So I think you just got called out, dude.
I did.
Maybe not for Saturday, but the following Saturday, you got to do some more decorating.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll have some more. I'm still, like I said, I had a whole bunch of things. I don't want to go out and buy more because I don't know when I find the other ones. How many little tiny nails am I going to need? It's ridiculous. So I am going to eventually get everything up and going. If in fact, just to prove it, I have a whole stack of picture frames. I have a couple of these. They're sitting right next to my desk, waiting for me to find them.
Nice.
So, yeah, they'll. Sure. Is Larry abusing you? No, not at all. So
Steffi Munster, he moved to Texas.
I did.
Scott's in Texas now.
I'm in Texas. I'm out in Austin now. So with that, potato internet anymore. And it's debatable, but it's better than the potato internet from the apartment. So
you're ready to cut us off, but I don't think Nate's ready because Nate's going on next. So I think we're pretty much done with this, but we could tease what we're talking about on Sunday. Because you don't have to wait. Yeah,
let's do it.
You don't have to wait 3 months for the next episode of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast.
We got a twofer.
Thanks to Clint and the Nerds Unite Network. We were coming back on Sunday with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie 30th anniversary special edition of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast. So we're going to watch the OG TMNT movie. Collector Clint's going to be there. Jeremy, Nate, me, Scott, all the STS guys. We're going to talk right before we go live. The official San Diego Comic-Con, right? The official CCI panel that is going to be happening. So hopefully we're all able to watch that. Maybe there'll be some good stuff to talk about from that. Maybe there won't. But it's going to be should be really cool. It's going to be an anniversary special with special guests. On Sunday, check the Nerds Unite Con schedule. I forget the exact time.
Perfect. Well, Larry, you've kind of segued into it. So let's go ahead, do your thing, because I think it's time for us to jump off. But stay on, because here.
How about I stay on, you drop off, get Nate ready, and then text me when Nate's ready. All right.
So in at what I'm going to say 7:00 Central, 5:00 Pacific. Nate and friend of the STS Guys, Prime to the First, are going to be talking figure news and exclusive with all the stuff that comes out for what would have been San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. So like Mezco, Hasbro, maybe a little Mattel, NECA, right? Those cool turtles that they had as exclusives. So they're going to talk exclusives. And then I know Nate and Josh are totally up on all the news and releases that have dropped the last 2 days, where I probably am not. So I'm definitely going to stick around and watch them to get all caught up.
So Larry, do your thing. Take us out. Everybody, it has been great. And I will see you all on Sunday when we talk Ninja Turtles. I'm excited. Bye, everybody.
All right. So, hey, it's just me. All right. Thank you, guys. Super appreciate everybody hanging out, especially on Twitch. I know there's people on YouTube and Facebook too. So you guys are awesome. Very, very much appreciated. And thank you to the Nerds Unite Network for allowing us to talk about the Garbage Pail Kids movie during Nerds Unite Con. If this is the first episode of the Totally Rad Movie Podcast you're watching, we usually record every other week. So we're going to try to get back on schedule, right? Scott was moving, some stuff happened, but we're going to be back every other week. We watch a really bad 80s or early 90s movie. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Totally Rad Pod. And Scott and I are from the STS Guys. We do a weekly pop culture podcast. We'll be live on Saturday, recapping all the SDCC news as part of Nerds Unite Con, which has been awesome so far. You can follow the STS Guys at STS Guys on Instagram or at STS Guys on Twitter. And I am Larry from the STS Guys. And Nate is in the chat, and he's saying, stay in the stream to talk SDCC figures. So we're not exactly sure how we're going to juggle switching from me and Scott talking to Scott and Nate and Josh, Prime 2 the First, who makes some awesome custom arcade cabinets and other 1 to upscale props. But I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself for a couple of minutes. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to do my best while I stall. But it's going to be awesome, right? That's our next panel. This is actually our first kind of panel for Nerds Unite Con. So it's been fun. I'm really, like I said, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Really appreciate all the hard work that all the other podcasts have put in to make this thing pretty awesome. And the response has been great, right? You got the STS Guys, you got the Four Dorksmen, you got the Average Nerd podcast, you got Secondary Heroes, Geek Together, Nerd Portraits, and my new favorite podcast, Nerdy Curious. Those girls are awesome. So we're all doing our best to put out some great content since none of us can actually go to San Diego. So it's kind of felt like a little piece of San Diego since, right, like a lot of the people that and a lot of the people that are in the chat I would have been talking to in San Diego this week. So yes, thank you, Ryan. I will be happy to talk to Ryan, who is a member of the Four Dorksmen podcast. Check them out. Clint, Four Dorksmen Clint hosted a really fun panel that I was on earlier this morning about collecting and our collections and displays and stuff like that with me, Mike from Talking Pop, Sully, Damien from Geek Together was also there, and Jorge from Toys R Us Kid from the Average Nerd podcast. So pretty all-star lineup, if I do say so myself. So that's out there. If you missed that one, I know the replays are going to go up on YouTube sooner. I think you can actually go to Twitch and check the replay now. Like it's down at the bottom when you're not live, it should show up. So definitely check that one out because that one's super fun. But I'm just looking over our schedule, right? We've got Nate and Josh talking action figure news and exclusives coming up here right now. On Saturday, it's going to be a classic episode of the STS Guys podcast at 8 Pacific. We're going to basically recap all the SDCC news. The Kevin Smith panel is the hour right before we go live. Jeremy is a big Kevin Smith fan, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be reacting to anything big or new or cool that comes out of that Kevin Smith panel. Jeremy is in the chat right now, who's calling out that trivia was great yesterday on the Dorksman stream. Well, guess what? Trivia is going to be even better today because Scott from the STS Guys is one of the 4 participants. I will be on trivia tomorrow. I think my trivia topic is streaming TV. So look out, other contestants, which I think I'm going against Ryan tomorrow. And Robbie from Geek Together. And there's one other person. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Ian Doge says, where's Scott? Ian, we've basically wrapped up the Totally Rad Movie Podcast, and now I am stalling until Scott can wrangle up Nate and Josh so that they can talk action figure news. I talk really fast when I'm nervous, and I'm talking really fast right now, so I must be nervous. I'm all by myself, guys. This is weird. I'm used to being 1/4 of the screen, not the full screen, but now you've got you got a full thing of you got a full screen of Larry right now from the STS Guys. Anyway, so we got our normal podcast tomorrow. We mentioned the TMNT recap for the 30th anniversary, which will be on the Totally Rad brand and brought to you by the STS Guys. That happens on Sunday, July 26th at 12 p.m. That one's going to be super fun. And then really the one that I'm looking forward to the most, Sunday, July 26th, 2 p.m., we have a special guest, our friend Tyler Calvert, who has a really great YouTube channel. He does trailer reactions, movie news, that kind of stuff. Well, he's going to join us on Sunday, and he's going to react to trailers with us. He's going to share movie news. We're going to talk about things like the new Mutants movie. We're going to talk about the Bill and Ted reboot or sequel that I guess got announced today, that it's going to be, I think the note I saw said it's going to be in theaters and available on demand on the same day, like in September. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but either way, we're going to be able to see the Bill and Ted movie here in a couple weeks, right from the comfort of our couch. So I'm super stoked about that. I've been pretty passionate about they just need to release some of these movies, right? As a pop culture podcast, we totally don't know what to talk about sometimes. And there's no new movies. There's barely any TV. We just kind of have to come up with some topics. So I'm excited for the Bill and Ted. I really hope that new Mutants movie gets a home release too. I even though it's probably going to be awful, I just kind of want to watch it and have something to talk about and tell you guys about how awful it is. So that would be kind of fun. Corgi really misses movie trailers. Yeah, me too. Right. It's been, besides the Bill and Ted one, I can't really think of a good one that we got recently. I know there's been a last minute Black Widow trailer and that kind of stuff, but that's not very fun. Stop stalling. Ian, I have to keep stalling. Nate isn't ready, man. Wild Stallions rule. So there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me and Scott talk about the, what did we just talk about? Garbage Pail Kids movie. It's good, man. But yeah, shout out again to all the other great podcasts. I don't have the full schedule up, but you know where I can find it? I can find it by going to Twitter and searching for Nerds Unite Network. I have to give a plug to the Nerds Unite Network Facebook page too, because I am one of the 2 admins for that. So if you haven't liked the Nerds Unite Network on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Nerds Unite Network, and it'll keep you up to date on all the Nerds Unite Network news too. So you can find out the schedule for tomorrow's panels for Nerds Unite Con. So shout out to Facebook. So let's see. I've got the Friday schedule up. Let's talk Friday schedule. So a couple highlights here, right? I think everybody knows that tomorrow morning Funko is going to go live with their Fun TV with Mike Becker and Brian Mariotti. That's looks pretty cool. The trailer they put together looks like a lot of fun. Thanks, Patrick. This kind of reminds me of Wayne's World when Garth gets stuck alone with the camera. This is totally Wayne's World moment. Party time. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Jumps to Frog. I don't have the secret word for today's giveaway, but if you turn into that Sunday panel with Tyler Calvert, that is our day to share the secret word. Secondary Heroes had the secret word yesterday. I don't know who has it today. So it should be coming up probably this evening. I know we did it. We did the code word yesterday, kind of late. So check. I think it says on the giveaway who's going to be saying it. So check the giveaway to find out what it is, because I don't have it. But I will have it Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific. But yeah, so anyhow, a couple of us from each of the podcasts are going to get together. Looks like Secondary Heroes is the one who's actually hosting it. But after that Fun TV, we're going to do a reaction. So, right, I think Mike from Talking Pops is going to be on there. That dude knows a ton about Pops. So we're hoping for some reveals. Maybe something will drop, maybe not, hopefully not. But either way, I think the Fun TV thing will be fun. And our reaction to the Funko Fun TV will definitely be fun, right? We're going to tell you how it is. We're going to share our feelings about things like we've done so far this week. And then, like, I don't know about you, but I love food. So I'm totally looking forward to the average nerd sitting down with the guy from, I don't even know what his podcast is, but he's it's like Famine Fed is how they have it. I think that's shortened though. But they got a guy from a food podcast. They're going to talk SDCC food talk and memories. That one's going to be fun. Everybody loves sharing food stories, and SDCC, right? San Diego's got some really good food around the convention center and downtown. My favorite, shout out to the 24-hour Subway. I don't know anyone who hasn't eaten at the 24-hour Subway, but it's totally, totally good. I'm going to text Scott and see if he's done. Yeah, so, right, that's going to be legit. Hold on. Are you ready? So the food panel is going to be fun. It'd be really cool if you guys could jump into the chat and maybe share some food recommendations. Like, I'm just trying to think of the food that I like. Thank you, Jeremy. It's not downtown, but if you have not gotten Mexican food from Sombreros, you're totally missing out. Like, I think they Uber, like you can do Postmates for Sombreros. It might have been referenced in a Blink-182 song like 20 years ago, but it is some legit, like if you just want a good bean and cheese burrito or some rolled tacos, Sombreros is definitely the place to go. The 24-hour Subway with no specials. So I think, no, that's true, right? There's no deals, no nothing else. But man, like they crank those sandwiches out. So if you're in a hurry or if you're staying at the Marriott that's right there, that 24-hour Subway is legit. I also really like Lucky's Lunch Counter, which is right around the corner from that Marriott, right across the street from Petco. Lucky's Lunch Counter has some killer breakfast burritos. Their sandwiches are pretty good too. But I really like the breakfast. You can get pancakes and stuff too. We've stayed at that. It's the San Diego Marriott Gas Lamp. We've stayed there before, and I'd go down and get pancakes and stuff and bring them back up to the hotel and just be able to sit and chill for a couple minutes and eat some like okay breakfast. Broken Yolk is actually like right there too. Broken Yolk's another good place to get some good breakfast. Nerdy Curious is in the chat. Shout out to those girls. They are awesome, and they say that the Mission is our staple breakfast. I have not heard of that before, so I will add that to my list for next time. Scott says he's ready, guys. So I think Scott is going to set up Josh and Nate, my friend Nate, Spaghetti Factory, always legit. So thank you guys. Stick around right here, STS Guys channel, as well as the Nerds Unite Network on Twitch if you guys are watching there. So thank you very much for listening to me ramble. You guys are awesome. Nerds Unite.